Hey, welcome back to Collective Perspective 78. Real quick, just want to mention the last episode was earlier this month. It was a live stream. So if you missed that, it'll be under the live streams tab. Uh, Probably not on your homepage like it usually is. I don't know. I don't know what YouTube algorithm is going to do for you on that one. But go find that one. That was a fun one. I couldn't tell you what it was. It's been like 3 weeks, but I'm sure it was a really fun episode.
Talking about Switch 2 games and Switch collectability and all
Oh
that kind
yeah,
of jazz.
Craig was there. That's right.
I was there, believe it or not. A rare appearance on Collective Perspective.
What the heck are we talking about today, Craig?
We're talking about the top 10 most collectible PlayStation portable games.
I don't know. Craig found 20 off the top of his head. I couldn't barely find 10, so this will be an interesting one.
Christian said he wanted to do this episode. He was like, the PSP is the least collectible console ever. This would be funny. We should do PSP. And I was like, yeah, I guess no one really cares about it. And then when it came time to think about my games, like I said, I had like 20, 25 that came to mind right away. And then Christian's like over here like, man, I gotta Google stuff. I can't think of any games on this console that matter. And I think you are just showing a little bit of disrespect to the first Sony portable game console.
We both grew up with this platform. Is that true?
I had it, but I didn't play it a lot. I still always played my DS and stuff a lot more. So I had one, but it was like my secondary to third machine, like behind the Game Boy Advance and DS. So
Yeah, I same. You know, I had like maybe 8 games for this thing as a kid, maybe, and it was just like, you know, it was such an expensive thing, and I was happy to have it. But just, I don't know. I wasn't ever a PlayStation kid, and this was actually my first entry into the PlayStation world. So maybe if I had been a kid and I'd played like Jack and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, like maybe I would have wanted to play these spin-offs. I didn't have any of the big first-party titles on the PSP.
yeah, I do remember though, even as a kid, being very impressed just with the performance, the graphics, everything on the PSP. Super ahead of its time this way. It was much closer to, console gaming at the time opposed to the DS, so it was a nifty little machine for its time for sure.
I watched the heck out of the Chronicles of Narnia on many road trips on PSP, boy.
That's funny. I had no movies or TV shows on mine, sadly, so I never experienced that. But nothing sounds better than watching Family Guy Volume 3 on my PSP. I wish I could have experienced that.
I didn't know that was a pricey one until doing research for this.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I remember like a lot of kids on the back of the bus, the cool older kids had their PSP and they were using it as an MP3 player. They just always had their headphones connected to their PSP.
It was a very cool multimedia device, especially then. And then of course it got gutted pretty bad once people realized how easy it was to hack these bad boys and just load them up with emulators and pirate games and all that. So Sony's had very bad luck with that. Same thing happened with the Vita. Sony stopped supporting the Vita once people cracked the store and you could just download whatever you wanted. So Sony's had terrible luck. But it's funny because it's like the PSP sold quite a lot of units like as a system, but then you look at all the games that were best selling and there's not that many games that even sold over 1 million units on it. So it's like everyone bought the system just to hack it and steal all the games. It's kind of sad.
What do you think was the last game, and when was the last game you played on an actual PSP?
I could tell you actually. It was Record Day 2017. I was waiting outside of Zia Records, and I brought my PSP and a copy of Hexy's Force,
Nice.
which is a turn-based Atlas game. And at the time, right now it's a pretty pricey game. I think I saw earlier it's like around like the 150 range, I think, give or take. But at the time, it's like you were still able to buy copies brand new on Amazon for like $60. So I just got a copy, ripped that bad boy open, and was playing it, in the basking sun, waiting to get some exclusive records. And of course, by the time I got into Zia, the one I went for was already sold out, so fruitless effort. But that was the last time I played a PSP. I only remember because it was Record Store Day, and it's kind of a very specific association. But I hate playing the PSP. I think it feels like a Fisher-Price toy. And if I'm going to play PSP games, I'm going to play them on my Vita, which is, a much more high-quality feeling system. So
I like the quality of the PSP. I think it feels pretty hefty, and I don't know. It doesn't feel like Fisher Price like the Wii U gamepad does.
Really, I feel like the PSP feels so like hollow and light, but like in a bad way. Like I like a little bit of heftiness to my handheld consoles.
Yeah.
Feels like I'm playing with and holding something a bit more premium. Doesn't feel like it's gonna shatter if I drop it from 2 feet above the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not like a Game Boy quality in terms of like holding up when you drop it on the ground. Last thing I played was Me and My Katamari, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh,
You can't play Katamari with a D-pad, and like two D-pads basically. It's not great, but
yeah, I was gonna say that seems like a very unfortunate way to play a game that's meant to be played with 2 sticks.
I guess yeah, you do have one stick on there, but it's not a great stick first of all, and yeah, it's not pretty. I did beat the whole game though, so go me.
Is it the best Katamari?
I've only played two, and it was not the best of the two.
Good to know.
So this console, we're just gonna be talking about for this video North American releases. I'm sure Japan has some awesome exclusives. I'm sure Europe has none, as usual. There are 612 North American games in the set list I have is probably the one everyone listening has. It's from Mark Zero. Somebody on Reddit posted this many years ago, and it's just readily available. Like we mentioned, or I guess we haven't really mentioned it yet, but this console is kind of known for having a lot of spin-offs to big franchises, not necessarily a lot of mainline entries. You'll see that with a few of the games I mentioned today, but also like I mentioned Ratchet and Clank. You've got Secret Agent Clank on there. You've got Daxter, but no actual Jak and Daxter game. This was pretty common. You didn't get the PSP was cool because it was more powerful by a long shot than the DS, but you weren't getting PS2 quality games on your PSP. So you would get like Grand Theft Auto, but it was like a shrunken down version. And those games actually, I believe, are the two best-selling games on the PSP. It's the Liberty City Stories and San Andreas Stories. So people loved those, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a third one on there
Chinatown
as well.
Wars. Chinatown Wars is one that people really like.
Interesting.
And that also had a DS version.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? That one made greatest hits on PSP, and it did not make the top 5, maybe even the top 15 best-selling PSP games. You would also get a lot of multi-platform games that could keep up with the console versions to an extent, but not full 100% ports. And so that would just kind of like, I don't know, I feel like the legacy of the PSP has kind of not held up as well, because it's like, oh, I could play Ghost Rider on the PS2, where it's like actually a fully functioning game. I know that's a random freaking thing to bring up, but I was researching it recently.
Everybody's favorite PS2 game, Ghost Rider.
I was researching that game recently, but yeah, the console counterparts are typically going to be much better, and I think that's affected its legacy a bit, at least for the multi-platform games. I thought the DS was cool for having two screens, one being a touchscreen. The PSP was really cool for being powerful at the time. The set of 612 games, not very small, bigger than the GameCube. There's like 10 to 12 games over $100 on this console.
Yeah, this is actually a fairly affordable set to do if you're a big PlayStation fan. This is actually probably the easiest one of all of their consoles if you want to try to get everything for it.
Yeah, I think the most expensive game I wrote down is Persona 2, and it's only $175. Like, that
that's
insane.
Crazy to me. Because that was, I don't know, that's definitely new. I saw that the other day. I do not remember Persona 2 being that expensive ever. I think that's a more recent thing.
All this Atlas love lately.
Dude, I'm telling you. Metaphor got people on that Atlas grind. They're starting to realize.
I believe it.
Go to developers.
So to define collectible a little bit, I'm not sure how to define it. I think that it's a very subjective topic. I learned that a lot with a video I released in January, but literally, like, it translates to, is this item worth collecting? You know? And that's obviously going to be subjective. I think Rayman 2 is collectible on the I think Rayman 1 is collectible on the Palm OS, the PDA. So I bought that crap. Craig would never spend more than $10 on that in his life.
No,
So, it's very
I have
subjective.
self-respect.
Um, I've heard a lot of people say that like collectible means it's currently valued at higher than its MSRP was.
Huh.
I think that is a good way to go if you want to be objective as possible. But then I can't really agree with that because I think like Mario Galaxy's probably one of the top 10 most collectible games on the Wii, and it's $20. But then to even take it a step further, you would have to argue that condition matters, and a sealed copy definitely reaches that threshold. So I don't know. It's a tough debate, tough topic. Do you want to add
Yeah,
anything?
yeah, I don't know, because I guess really, yeah, like you said, the objective way is kind of look at like availability and desirability to kind of, if you want to have some sort of formula for it, but at the same time, it's like if anything, has inherent desirability, then it's collectible to somebody, right? So it really just kind of depends on who you ask. But when I made my 10 games for this list, for example, I did it based off of like significance to the system or significance to the series that it was from, things like that. So there's a lot of different stuff you could factor into it, but it all kind of just comes down to personal taste at the end of the day. Obviously, your clay fighter sculptor's cut's different. Like that are always going to be considered collectible, but on a personal level, you might be like, oh, that's a really stupid thing to own and spend money on, so it's not collectible to me. But it's I guess I don't know. It's hard to have a general consensus because
Yeah.
everybody argues all the time anyway. So I wish we could all just get along.
I would hope the one thing we can all agree on is like historical significance makes something collectible.
Yeah, and I think that's the baseline, right? If does it matter? Does FIFA 12 on the PSP, is that collectible? Probably not to 99.99% of people. So
I With all that being said, I find it hard to find a lot of historically significant games on this platform. And that's why I struggled to make my list.
disagree, but it's okay.
Real quick, I'll go through the 5 best-selling games on the platform. We already talked about GTA, Liberty City Stories, and San Andreas Stories. Monster Hunter Portable third, and which like there's like three Monster Hunters on this platform, and they were pretty beloved. Like I think 2 of them are in the top 12 best-selling on the platform. Like
Yeah, especially in Japan, those were huge, huge.
that's
So,
probably where most of the units were sold.
mhm.
Yeah, I guess I should say these numbers come worldwide, but number 4 is Gran Turismo, number 5 is Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. And none of these, as far as I know, have made either of our lists. And yet, somehow, they're the best-selling games on the platform. I don't know, I think that's interesting. I will say I think all 5 of those are worth owning for sure, as collectibles. But with all of that out of the way, why don't you take us into number 1, Craig?
Number 1, I put Patapon on here. Patapon is a game you could buy right now, CIB, according to price charting, $11.83. So very cheap. But this is, first entry in a series that is very beloved by, hardcore Sony PlayStation fans. It has a lot of significance in the PlayStation community and ecosystem. So that is my justification for it being one of the most collectible games on the PSP.
I also have this game. I have this game as well. It spurred 2 sequels. It's a brand new Sony IP for the platform. I don't really know a lot or anything about Patapon. I was doing a little reading up on it, and
Oh, I hate it. But I know that people really like it. It's not for me, but it's a very beloved game in Sony circles. So
it's an exclusive to the console, and one of these games is getting a new game soon.
1 and 2 are getting a collection on Switch and PS5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so $12. One of the top 10 most collectible games, objectively. You heard it here first. I don't have it yet. Do
It
you
could be
own it?
yours for very cheap. So,
Do you own Patapon?
I do not. I don't own like almost any PSP games, honestly. So,
In the same vein, I'm gonna take Loco Roco.
that's on my list too. Look at that, some agreement.
I don't know what it is, but these two games seem to be connected in my brain. Is there like any overlap?
No, it's just I think it's kind of just the same thing. Very started on the PSP, very big, popular, beloved game in Sony ecosystem and Sony fans and circles and all that, and very both focused around the music involved as well. Actually, I don't know. I can't lie. I don't know about Loco Roco. I know Patapon is a rhythm game. Loco Roco though is very well known for his soundtrack, but I'm not 100% sure if it's like a platformer based around the music or not.
Definitely a platformer. It also spurred two sequels, and it also spurred a spin-off. It's once again a brand new Sony IP exclusive to the PSP, and you can get it right now for $15.
Not too shabby.
What else you got?
I got Trails in the Sky as my next game. So you could buy this one for a Chris Benjamin right about now is going for 98.96, and obviously the Legend of Heroes Trails of series is absolutely massive now. There's a bajillion games in it. It's a very beloved series, and this was the start of that subseries. It actually came out on PC, I think, many years earlier, but this was the kind of console debut of the series. So it has some significance there, being the console debut for the series, and also being a pretty late PSP game as well. So and it's a JRPG, just very beloved. It has a big fan base, so definitely one of the most collectible games on the system.
This game was on PC, or this series was on PC?
This game specifically, I think it came out on PC like many years earlier. Let me double check.
So you think that its console appearance is important enough for it to make your list?
Yes,
All right.
especially with how big and beloved the series is now. So, yeah, it came out Japan exclusive June 24th, 2004, and then it came to North American PSP in 2011, so 7 years later.
So this is the first American release.
Yes.
All right, I'm adding it to my list. I had one on here that was iffy and stupid, and
So now you're switching it to that.
I'm putting it in the honorable mentions now.
Yeah, and even the PSP version in Japan, it was 2006, so 5 years to localize that bad boy. Kind of crazy.
I think that's a good choice.
All right. Look at that. 3 for 3 so far. Who would have thought?
But if it was released in America before this release, I would have been out on it. That's why I asked.
And comments correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99.9% sure I'm right on that. So,
I'll tell you which one I deleted at the end.
all right.
All right, I guess this is 4. We're already on number 4 here for
Wow.
me. This is probably on your list. This is probably the top 3. It might be the number 1 most collectible on the PSP. I'm going to say Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII.
Yep, that's on my list too.
It's exclusive to the console. It tells the story of Zack. Yeah, it tells the story of Zack from Final Fantasy VII. Which obviously is one of the greatest games in history. I think you could argue that this is a spin-off, but I also think you could argue this is the 8th best-selling game on the PSP. People loved it, and it made the favorites line, which was not greatest hits, but not Black Label. I don't know what it was.
So weird. Yeah.
I think it's probably not the best way to play it anymore since it's on PS5 now, but we don't play our games here. This is a collectibles podcast, and you can go grab this for $15 CIB.
Yeah, it plummeted in price after the kind of like half remake for Remaster came out. But yeah, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, required reading if you want to play the newer Final Fantasy VII remake trilogy. But excellent game. Pretty much might as well be considered a mainline entry for how significant it is to Final Fantasy VII's overall story. and for the longest time, exclusive. So, yep, definitely up there.
I'll play it eventually.
Yeah, if you plan on playing Remake and all that, you definitely have to play this first. I think it's like required, honestly.
So far we've talked about $10, $12, $15 games, like everything. Oh, except for one $100 game, but
Yeah,
everything
one
so
big
far very cheap.
Yeah, this is a pretty affordable console to collect for. You could get a lot of really good, significant games for cheap. But not this one. For $104 on price charting right now, we have Persona 3 Portable. For the longest time, this was the most expensive game on the console. It spiked and dipped after the remake came out. But this is, it's tough to say because, obviously Persona 3 also had two versions on PS2 first. But Persona 3, as a whole, kind of the game of the series to start launching Atlas and launching the Persona and Shin Megami Tensei series in the West. And this version is still very significant because it is the only way to this day to play the second campaign where you play as the female protagonist. There's 4 versions of this game, and even the newest, most complete remake doesn't even have this option or this route. So this still gives this version a lot of significance, and Atlas stays goated. So Persona 3 Portable.
I think you made some good points that I, having never played the game, never would have known. I'm out on ports and remakes for my list.
That's valid.
But I think you made some really good points for sure.
All right. Hey, you know what? 4 for 5, that's not too bad. I didn't think we were going to have any crossover. So, all right, what you got next?
Hear me out on this one. I just said I don't do ports and remakes. Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles.
Oh my god.
In the same vein
You're
as
so full of it.
Trails in the Sky, kind of, how we were just talking about it. This is the first time that you could own Rondo of Blood in America, which is one of the most important games, maybe? Like, it is incredibly beloved, and it was remade into this PSP exclusive game that sold well enough to get greatest hits. I don't know. I mean, like, yes, you should definitely go get Rondo of Blood on the PC Engine CD instead of this, but if we're talking about the 10 most collectible PSP games, I think there is a lot of significance with Rondo of Blood being in America for the first time, even if it is a remake. Pretty sure it has Symphony of the Night on it as well, like maybe as like an unlockable or something.
Yeah, I think after you beat Rondo of Blood, you unlock Symphony of the Night, which is cool.
I think this game, like I said, it was really hard for me to find 10 games. I think this one makes the cut.
I think this is definitely your bias showing, but I'll allow it.
Its value right now is $40.
There you go. I think your copy that you own too, didn't you buy it from me?
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right. No, that's valid. Joking aside, I see what you're saying about Rondo of Blood, so not on my list though. Next for me, this one could be on your list. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Yeah.
Is it on your list? Okay, cool. Price $36.74 according to price charting right now. Obviously, we all know Metal Gear Solid, one of the big great series of all of video gaming, and this is often considered, one of the best games, in the series. Period. By a lot of fans, people love this game, and it's definitely the biggest spin-off for Metal Gear Solid. But people often, like I said, spin-off aside, a lot of people consider it one of the best Metal Gear games. So, started out as an exclusive. It's been ported to many things since then. Like, I think you could play it in some like PS3 collections and different things like that. But originally debuted on the PSP.
Yeah, I actually was looking into it. It's a mainline MGS game.
Is it mainline technically? Okay.
So
I was mistaken.
I knew Metal Gear Solid was going to be on this list somewhere for me, and this is the only one. Well, I don't remember. It was, I think it was like the only one that wasn't a spin-off, or the only one that wasn't on other platforms, or maybe both. There's a lot of MGS on the game, I almost said the Game Gear, on the PSP.
Yeah, I want to try the Acid games eventually. I've heard those are really cool. They're like tactics games.
This is the 12th best-selling game on the console. It made greatest hits. And yeah, $36 for a truly beloved game, mainline entry for a I know Metal Gear was on NES and other platforms, but Metal Gear Solid is a PlayStation franchise. When you start looking into like collecting this stuff, at least in my eyes,
Just look away from Twin Snakes on GameCube is fine.
and that whatever's on Xbox as well. Yeah.
All right. You want to go next?
What are we at? I have Jean d'Arc. Jean d'Arc.
Me too. Wow. Look at that.
I'm glad you have stuff on here because I can't say too much about it. It's a tactical RPG. It's exclusive to the PSP. It is published by Sony, not developed by them.
I think Level 5 made it, right?
Yeah. And it's a $57 game right now. I'll throw in, I got this game for like $4 at Goodwill like 10 years ago.
Nice.
Never played it.
Yeah, I've played it, not beaten it. I enjoyed what I played of it though. Another one where it's kind of like just like a cult classic in Sony circles. It's a very unique and interesting game. But the main reason I put it on the list was just for the cult classic status, and it's kind of interesting. The game's had a small resurgence because they actually ported it to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 recently, so much more accessible to play now if you want to play it. But yeah, the collectability just comes from it being a very unique game, and it's considered like one of the like PSP like must play hidden gem yada yada whatever you want to call it games. So yeah, it's just a very unique release and very memorable and very beloved by everybody pretty much who's ever played it. Like I know a lot of people over the years that are gamers of some sort, and a lot of JRPG fans that I know, like this is their PSP game. Like when they think of the PSP, they think of Jeanne d'Arc. So
there's a ton of Atlas and like RPG love on this console, so that's saying something.
Mm-hmm. It's a good console if you're a big old dork like me. So
all right, I guess you're up, sir. Or
next, this
yeah,
one
I guess.
might be on your list too. God of War: Chains of Olympus.
Yeah.
Yep. So very highly rated PlayStation Portable game. Very considered very good God of War game. People really like this game, and it's a full-fledged God of War game on the PSP. Been ported to other things since, like some of these other games on here as well, but debuted here. Price $29.99.
It's the 7th best-selling game on the platform. Is Ghost of Sparta not a full-on God of War game? What is the deal with that one?
I think it is too.
Okay.
I just know that Chains of Olympus is the one that people really enjoy. Like this is like people's go-to PSP God of War game.
Gotcha. This is the first one that came out on PSP. It came before Ghost of Sparta. And yeah, once again, haven't played it. I'm assuming it counts as a mainline entry? Question mark?
I'm no expert.
Either way, it's God of War in the PS2 era. I think it belongs on this list.
There we go. Wow, look at that. We have 7 games crossed over, and you thought we were going to have all different. This is actually probably we're more in agreement on this than I think we were on N64 collectible games, which is hilarious. So,
is that all 10 for you?
No, I have 2 more.
Okay, I have 1 more, so go ahead.
All right. I have Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Do you have that?
That's the one I removed.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So another case of ported to other things, but very beloved entry in the series. Really showed the power of the PSP. People really like this game. Kingdom Hearts fans, a lot of hardcore Kingdom Hearts fans, I feel like their favorite is either 2 or Birth by Sleep. And a personal bias. This is just one of those games. When I think of the PSP, I think of Birth by Sleep. So definitely a little bit of bias in this answer, but really cool, affordable at $19.99 action role playing game on the PSP.
It's reviewed pretty freaking well. It's a beloved franchise, not just a beloved game, but I don't know, it's exclusive to the platform, before they started doing 2.5, 2.8, 3.92, like all these ports and everything.
All that nonsense.
There were other Kingdom Hearts on PSP, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
This is it.
Well, then there is a whole hardware PSP console themed on this game. I remember that.
Yes, which is very cool. My personal second favorite Kingdom Hearts game. So, absolutely love it.
I think, I don't know. I think I removed it because it was a spin-off. I mean, I don't even know if it's a spin-off. Is it?
There's no spin-offs in Kingdom Hearts, buddy. There might be 1, 2, and 3, but every game is just as important. As unfortunate as it is, you have to play all 12 to understand number 3.
Well,
even the mobile game.
I don't know. You made some good points. I kind of want to add it back in and delete this other one now, but I'm gonna leave it. My last one here is God of War: Ghost of Sparta.
Oh, you had both Gods of War there. Okay.
Is the 19th best-selling game on the platform, and it is currently $43.
Oh, look at that.
So the other one was 7th best-selling and $30. I honestly, I have literally nothing to say about this game. I don't know anything about it.
It's clearly more rare because it's not the 7th best-selling, so that's why it's more expensive.
You're not wrong. All right, yeah. I mean, that's it for me. I want to hear your final one, Craig.
Last one. You might not have even know this game or series, but I have Summon Night 5 on here.
Yeah.
So Summon Night 5 is a mostly Japanese exclusive series, but we've gotten 5, 6, and I think like a couple. There's like some GBA spin-offs and stuff, and I don't know all the lore of it. But Summon Night 5, this game is $94.99 CIB right now according to price charting. This was the final physical release of a PSP game in North America, and it came out in, I think it was August of 2016, so super late, like extremely late. But they released it digitally first, and then they did a limited printing of this game physically. It doesn't seem like it's like you could go on eBay and buy it right now, so it's not like super rare or anything like that. But it's a cool, interesting release, and it is the final release on the console. And usually the final release of a console is a wet fart, like a FIFA or a Pro Evolution Soccer. But you actually got something kind of cool with the PSP. You got a Japanese role-playing game. So shout out to Summon Night 5. I think that definitely deserves to be in the 10 most collectible games on the system.
It is crazy to think that you would just release the 5th entry after not releasing, 1 through 4, Like today,
happens, though.
Today it's like you could do that today. We've got the internet is running rampant. People are always knowing everything about everything. I don't know. 2016. That is so late. Holy crap!
That's what I'm saying. Super late.
The PS4 was out.
The Vito's out for 4 years already. That's how late this was.
That's a cool one. That's neat.
And but yeah, I mean, think about it this way. I mean, Shin Megami Tensei, very very famous, popular series right now. We still don't have a version of 1 or 2 that's playable in North America. There was an iOS version of Shin Megami Tensei 1 that was delisted like a decade ago, and then we've never gotten any version of 2. So sometimes I don't know what the hell these companies are doing. But yeah, shout out to Summon Night 5. So we had 7 games crossed over, so that's pretty dang good.
Let's do honorable mentions, and then we'll reread the ones, our lists.
Honorable mentions. Now that I'm on the spot, I can't remember any, of course. I'm trying to think of other ones I had written down. Daxter, of course, I think is one that you could put up there. Secret Agent Clank is one that I think that you could put up there. I didn't want to load this list with Personas, but I think you could put Persona 1 and 2 on there as well. Man, I can't remember what else I was thinking of the other day, but
I got pissed off just thinking about one that I thought you were going to put on here. I thought you were going to put Parappa on here.
No, definitely not. Let's see what else. The Power Stone collection, honestly, is kind of cool, but I was trying not to do too many things that were available on other consoles beforehand. Mega Man Powered Up was one that I thought of. A full-blown remake of Mega Man 1, but it has like additional Robot Masters, which is pretty cool. So lots of cool stuff on the PSP.
I have Lunar Silver Star Harmony. I was looking at this game and I was like, oh, it's an exclusive. And then I was like, wait a minute, it is not the first, not the second, but the third remake of the first game. I was like, no, I can't do
Yep.
this.
It was from Sega CD to PS1 to GBA to PSP, right? And now we have it on Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Wow.
Bonkers.
It is obviously a beloved JRPG series. It has the working designs factor going for it, because it was done by Working Designs on the Sega CD, and it just didn't make the cut because of being the third remake, but that's a good one. And then I almost put Wild Arms XF on here. It's the final mainline Wild Arms game to release, and it's exclusive to the platform. Another beloved RPG series, but this one kind of like didn't. It was still a mainline entry, I believe, but the gameplay changed it all up and went to be a tactical RPG, and I don't know. It felt spin-offy to me, and I don't know. I didn't. Maybe if it just had a number, Wild Arms 4 or whatever number it would be, maybe I'd feel differently. But and then I put Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Those were my honorables.
Good stuff.
The 7 that we got together here: Patapon, Loco Roco, Chains of Olympus. Oh wait, I totally have one more. I only did 9. Hang on.
Pause.
This might be the best one on my list. Ys 7 is an exclusive, or it was an exclusive on the PSP when it came out. It's a freaking long-running franchise from way back in the day, and it's currently $69. There were like 3 Ys games on the PSP. Nice. There are like 3 Ys games on PSP, I think. This is the one that is exclusive, and I think that's freaking cool. It's a mainline entry for sure. Go get Ys 7. Add it to your list.
There you go.
Okay. So we got Crisis Core, Patapon, Loco Roco, Chains of Olympus, Trails in the Sky, Jeanne d'Arc, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. And what were your other 2 or 3?
My others that you didn't have were Persona 3, Summon Night 5, and Birth by Sleep.
I had Castlevania, Dracula X Chronicles. I had Ghost of Sparta and Ys 7. So let us know who made the better list. Let us know right now if we're missing some really incredibly important games. Would you have put the GTA games on your list? Drop a comment. What's up, Craig?
I was just going to say, I sure wouldn't.
This was fun. I want to do this for every console eventually, but
yes,
I don't know. I just was like,
but we had to do the important consoles first. N64 and PSP.
It's like really easy to do Nintendo platforms. I think that's probably true for most Nintendo consoles because they have the first party stuff. I think every game on N64 that I chose. No, that's not true. We had Banjo in there. We had 007. But, it's most of these lists for Nintendo consoles are going to be first-party games, which is boring. Like, it's like when you watch a top 10 video and it's like, Ocarina of Time is number 1. You're like, oh, just like every other YouTube video. So, doing something like PSP was interesting. I would like to, if you guys want to hear a specific console, drop a comment. Would love some feedback.
Please do it. We love it.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of Sega and Xbox talk, at least over the last 12 to 18 months, so we decided to switch it up.
Give Sony some love. Next up, we're going to be doing exclusively Neo Geo content.
Hang on.
Talk about the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Get some SNK love in here.
I felt like this was a short episode. We're almost at 40 minutes out here.
Yeah, I mean, we bantered for about 12 minutes not talking about the top 10 most collectible PSP games, so this show becomes more and more podcasts the longer it goes on.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I have a video coming out soon. It's going to be 10 games that came with comic books, and it's not just going to be the basic Fantastic Four on Wii. It's going to be some really interesting stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Craig, do you have anything you'd like to promote?
No, you could listen to my bi-weekly podcast if y'all would like. Generations Behind over on my channel, Craig's Game Room. We got the boys Tyler and Zach over there Daily Beating and Game Collecting Reaper hanging out with me. You're going to probably be a guest on that show in the coming months, which will be very exciting. So look forward to that. Y'all can come see Christian on my channel for the first time in a while. And other than that, I always have videos in the works. I'm just very, very slowly, but I got many scripts written, so I'm gonna start trying to do some scripted content soon. So that should be fun.
Good stuff. You can join the Discord link in the description and come chat with both Craig and myself anytime. But that's it. We'll see you guys in the month of May for a couple more collective perspectives.
Take care.